Well, good morning, Agapeans. Welcome to Thoughts Can Change Your Life. And here I am every day, 8 a.m., talking to you about how do we ask better questions? How do we ask better questions to create new thoughts? Because when we create new thoughts, we create a frequency. When we create a frequency, we create an energetic, and that energetic attracts to us what we put out. And that was my thought for today. My thought for the day was very, very, very simple. The energy you put out is at a particular frequency. That frequency that you puts out attracts others or events or circumstances of like frequency. Most of the time, the frequency we're putting out is unconscious. We're not even aware we're putting out a frequency. And we're saying to ourselves, why did I have that experience? Well, the reason you had that experience is that's the frequency you put out. It's just that simple. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And you say, well, no, I wasn't putting out that frequency. Well, you were. It's just that you're not even aware that you're doing it. You're doing it unconsciously. You have become, as Pink Floyd has said, comfortably numb. You're not even aware of the things that you do. You're not even aware of the things that you think. You're not aware of what you feel. You're simply putting out that which you become accustomed to putting out, that you blindly developed habits doing when you were young, when you did not have the ability to discern for yourself and say, this is what I want. Rather, you absorbed all of the things that your parents and everyone else and put out there, and you just accepted. Because that's what you are. When you're a little child between the age of 0 and 7, you're just blindly accepting everything. Zero discernment. That's why the Franciscan monk said, give me your child for the first 7 years of their life, and we'll make them a Christian for life, because you conditioned them. That's why when you start looking at movements of any sort, they want to condition you when you're young. It's real important to condition you young. It says, Jada Truth says, I was pulled here and I don't know why. Well, you know what? I'll tell you why. Very simple. Your frequency attracted you to this. No other reason to say it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here. Your frequency attracted you to this. That's all I can say. Do you have to know any more than that? No. Too much. We ask with our intellectual mind. Too many times we ask the question, why? And why are we here? Why am I alive? I don't ask that question. I says, I am alive. Now what can I do with it? What can I do to create a greater life? What can I do to have a greater experience? That's a valid question for me. Because now I've got purpose. I can do something with it. But so many people, they spend time asking why? Like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, and there's no answer. And so they're stuck in a loop and their life just passes them by. Why was I born in the United States? I don't know. I was. Now that I know I'm born in the United States, because that's where I live, I fully express myself there. Why wasn't I born in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. It's not important to me. That's absolutely a silly question. Be grateful for where you are, because that gives you your foundation. And it's from your foundation that you can begin to start creating new experiences, creating a new you, creating a new energy. That's what we are. All you and I are energy. And each of us is vibrating at a different frequency. If you're listening to me right now, chances are our frequencies are not too far apart. Because if they were far apart, we couldn't even be together. Realize that when you feel uncomfortable being with someone, it is in that moment that your frequency is so vibrationally different that you can't get along. Don't even be there. It's like even being married as long as I am, there are times when Jean and my frequencies are very, very, very different. And in those moments, I'm not with her. I go off and be by myself or do other things because I realize just not going to work. If you're a drastically different frequency than someone, you know if you're around them, it's going to set up for an unpleasant circumstance. Do you get that? Any of you been there? Any of you done that? I'm sure. You may not be aware of it, but you did it. So here's the thing. A lot of people say, I'm a victim to the weather. It's dark and gloomy outside. The weather affects me. The weather affects you if you choose to allow it. What is it? Steve said it's sunny in South Florida. Well, here in Highland Village, Texas, just north of Dallas, it's raining like crazy. It's dark. You know what that means? For me, it's a time to really go within and create. It's a time to finish creating my How to Meditate class that I'm starting to teach tonight. It's time to prepare for my class tomorrow that I'm doing on the mastery of self. Hey, and if you want to be a part of those classes, you can join. You just got to go to agapespiritualcenter.com, click on classes, and you can join. Who's this? Dee Dee Darlin, 51. Dee Dee Darlin, let me ask you a question. Is 51 your birth year? Tell me that, please. Say yes or no. Dee Dee Darlin, just say yes or no. Is 51 your birth year? And I got Donna Joy is telling me human body can vibrate. Well, Dee Dee Darlin, guess what, babe? You and I are the same exact age. Yep. Georgina says no. Well, 51 is not your birth year, Georgina. I know who you are. But let me come back to Donna Joy here. She says the human body can vibrate from 253 to 495. Self-doubt, fear can drop it. Thought changes the frequency. Love vibrates at 500. Joy is at 540. Think about that. Yeah, we've got to use our mental capacity to shift the frequency at which we vibrate. And we have that power. We have that power. Donna Joy, what is... Yeah, but our frequencies are close. Look at Georgina just flirting away. She's too much fun. If you don't know, I do know Georgina. She's a member of the local community here at Agape. She's a magnificent soul. She has the brightest eyes and smile. Just look at her little picture there. You can't tell much there, but Georgina's got a beautiful smile. I would ask the question, Donna Joy, what's the frequency when someone's in deep meditation? I got to believe it's very high. I've got to believe it's very high because that's where you connect with all that is. And it's a really different frequency than being in a frequency in the body. At least that's my experience. I can't calibrate what frequency I'm at, the exact number in that, but I do know when I'm higher and lower in connecting into oneness, connecting into allness, or whether I'm closer to my my more animal frequency. Because we all have an animal frequency because we are what? We are animals. We're mammals. Can't deny that. But the thing is, we do have consciousness and we have self-awareness. And from that consciousness and self-awareness, we can create a different frequency. And then here's the key. That frequency is what attracts to us. That's really the key thing to remember. If you want to know what frequency you are, look at what you're attracting to you. That'll tell you. If you want to know, are you abundant? What are you attracting to you? If you want to know, are you healthy? What are you attracting to you? If you want to know, are you loving? You're attracting to you. 1,000 for enlightenment higher. Peace is at 600. Peace for me is a state of perfect balance. When you're between the contrasts, you're between the thoughts, you're between the words. You're between the breaths. For me, that's peace. There's balance. That's a beautiful place to be, but you won't stay there long because you're meant to be in contrast. That's what the human experience is about. Moving in and out of contrast. It's a weave in and out. It's a dance. We come back to peace and meditation so that we can recharge, regenerate, rejuvenate, refocus, reboot as a computer would do, reset ourselves. So anyway, this has been a fun conversation. But you know what? That's all I'm going to do today. We talked about it. So you get to determine what you vibrate at. Play with it. Discern it. And know that you can know the results by simply observing what you're having it come to you in your life. So I want to share with you. No one says this to you. I will. I love you and I accept you just like you are. So go be and create the greatest you can be. Have a good day, all. Aloha.